Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. I am joined by Tag, back on the channel again. Tag, what is this, like your 20th time on the channel, man? I'm abusing you as a great guest.
How you doing, it's too many to count.
I know, it's like a regular series though, but people obviously love you. You're amazing at describing and explaining decisions and decks, so I'm super happy to have you on again, man. What do you have in store for us today?
So I have a refined variation of 2.9 Minor Poison. It's probably the best Minor Poison control deck that you could possibly find that doesn't have Spear Goblin Hut. And we have Tesla instead of Inferno Tower because Tesla is becoming exceedingly OP. And honestly, Tesla is just so much more versatile. You're able to use it against princesses, and you're able to like stack a lot of Teslas against Lava Loon. Honestly, Inferno Tower just wasn't cutting it against a lot of Expo players. Now you have another answer, and you pretty much automatically win against half the meta with this deck. It's incredible.
Yeah, man, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking about all the popular archetypes like Goizin, Bridge Spam, Three Musketeers, Bait, and you have like really solid answers against pretty much every popular archetype, as well as Expo, as you mentioned, Hog, you know, you can keep going on and on. What would you say the weak spot to this deck is? Is there any bad matchup?
Yeah, if you want to play against like a giant graveyard player that has Spear Goblin Hut, you'll probably lose. But
yeah, that's true.
No one really runs that type of stuff, so you're fine.
Okay, so pretty much for everything actually meta, it does pretty well. Dude, I want to hop right into the 12 win you had here against the Expo deck and kind of break that down if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, sounds good, man. I even made some misplays, but it didn't matter because the deck just kind of carried me.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press watch right now. We'll just take it from the beginning.
All right, so with this deck, what you predominantly want to do is you want to go for an Ice Golem, and you never want to go Ice Golem in the same lane that they have the Tesla. So if they go for Expo plus Tesla at the start of the game, you go Ice Golem opposite lane. So basically, you're going to see me try to kite or use my Ice Golem going opposite lane for the most part, and I'm going to be trying to go for Ice Golem, Poison, and then log out the Expo.
Okay.
And
go ahead.
Another thing that you're going to see is you're going to see me going for minor chip damage on the tower, but my minor, I always want that to also tank for the Expo hits. I don't want him to ever get tower damage on me. I never want that Expo to connect. I make a pretty brutal misplay early on, and the Expo does connect, but after that, the game is really clean. But it just shows you that if you play this deck like half competently, I didn't really play it that well, you can still easily beat a really good Expo play. So this guy is a top ladder player. He finished top 20 in the world, and it just didn't matter because I had the matchup. So basically, you're just going to see time and time again, I'm going to want to go in for the Ice Golem. I actually missed the Ice Golem. I'm like, all right, yeah, this is definitely a target. And it feels bad, man.
Yeah, and you don't have like well, you have Ice Spirit, but that's it to reset. Or you have Wee-Wiz too, my bad.
All right. Yeah, you have Wee-Wiz, but
so, yeah,
for the most part, yeah.
You didn't take a ton of damage there, but this is good. So I really love that you kind of cover the basics right off the bat there as far as how you deal with the Expo. But obviously, you know what deck he's running. Are you going to when are you going to be using the hidden Tesla versus sending in like a minor poison on the Expo? Like, how do you decide against the
Tesla is really risky, so I never really do it. I'll do it sometimes if I can predict them and I know what they're going to do. But for the most part, I don't like going in for my Tesla because if he goes in for Expo Tesla and then has an Ice Golem in front, I just like automatically lose the Tesla, and then I don't have enough elixir to defend the push. So I really like going in for Ice Golem, Bandit, and then poison out the Expo.
Okay, so
sometimes I'll use Minor as well.
That's the perfect response. So Ice Golem opposite lane, Bandit same lane, and then poison.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll go in for an Electro Wizard. I just kind of had to cycle there, and notice how I spaced out everything. He wasn't able to fireball the Electro Wizard and the Ice Golem. Should have actually dropped my Electro up a little bit further, but it still ended up being fine. I'm getting minor chip damage, as you're going to see throughout the entirety of this game. I'm going to use my minor as a resource, so my minor is actually going to be tanking for the tower.
And explain, is there ever a wrong time to do minor chip damage? Like when I imagine when you know they're going to play the Expo.
Yeah. So another thing, yeah, exactly. You never really want to go for minor chip damage, like when you know that they're going to go for a Tesla right on top. So if you know that they're going to go for a Tesla like right on top of their Expo, you want to go for the minor like on the tower instead of actually like going for the minor right on top of the Expo, because it's just going to get killed immediately by the Tesla. Another thing that you just saw like earlier on, I went for an Ice Golem opposite lane, not going into the Expo lane, because I don't want him to be able to cycle like archers or anything, kill the Ice Golem faster, and then have those archers like go down near my tower and then force a response out of me. Yeah. But you basically saw probably one of the worst possible starts, and it just shows like if you play this deck well, you can always come back and win against Expo.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be poisoning out the tower the entire time, going in for log, and then I'm going to go in for a miner on the tower, and then the miner is actually going to be the target. So you can also cycle really fast. I got back to 2 ice golems, I think.
Yeah, you did. I was gonna just mention that. I was just like, you know, it feels like you never really hesitate to cycle too if you need to, you know, against the Expo. You'd never want it, like you said early on, you never want it to lock onto your tower, so you're comfortable just cycling Ice Spirit, whatever, you know, in the back.
Exactly. So I guess like the main takeaway is never really going for Tesla until you know, like never really going for Tesla. You just keep going in for like Ice Golem, Bandit, Miner, Poison, Log, and Ice Spirit. Sometimes you'll have to cycle Electro Wizard, but for the most part, you have to be really cognizant of not giving them Fireball value.
Okay, great advice there. Now I want to see you go against Goizen because, as we mentioned off the top, Goizen's everywhere, and it's annoying as hell. So let's go ahead and watch this one, the next one down.
Right,
so I press play, and again, just kind of walk us through this matchup, or maybe just touch on beatdown decks in general, so Giant or Golem. I imagine the strategy is somewhat similar.
Yeah, it's really similar. I mean, the biggest thing that most people are going to struggle with is you got to know where to place the Tesla. If you have correct Tesla placements, you're going to have very easy defenses. Ice Golem, you're going to be seeing me in this game kiting so much with Ice Golem. So basically the 2 key elements of this deck, you're going to have Ice Golem and Bandit. Those are the 2 cards that are really difficult to use mechanically. You always need to know when you're going to be pulling with Ice Golem and when you actually need to drop it like right on top of the princes. Sometimes I'll be dropping the Ice Golem like right on top of the princes and the Goblin Gang if he has bats with it as well, because if I don't kite the bats, the bats get an incredible amount of damage on my tower as the tower is targeting the prince and then pulling the not pulling the bats go directly towards my tower. So there's some situations that you actually have to drop the Ice Golem right on top, but basically, if you utilize the Ice Golem on defense correctly and just kite units, giving you a lot of extra time, and utilize your Bandit, Bandit does super well against Princes.
Yeah.
So it stops the charge of the Prince, and then the Prince's charge is completely mitigated. And that's kind of the key interaction that I really like with Bandit. Bandit on defense against a Dark Prince and a Prince, either or, it will kill it. So you're going to net at least a +1 trade or a... you're going to net at least a +1 trade or a +2 trade every single time. So Minor Poison is all about positive elixir trades and having counter pushes. So if you're able to do that, then you're going to be in a phenomenal situation moving forward.
Yeah, and you can just see early on here all the value, just like you said, you're getting from that Bandit against the Princes, you know? The fact that she can charge without taking that initial damage is so key. Do you think that I know you said this off air before we started recording, so I cheated and I know your answer, but you think the Bandit's one of the best cards in the game, right?
Yeah, I do. I think that it's really good in this Prince meta. I don't really like messing around with Prince. I think it's one of the most OP cards, and Bandit counters it. So for a +2 trade, I don't really know any other card in the game that, besides like Swarm units, that will counter it, you know?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good point. I think you mentioned this too, but I do kind of feel like she's a bit of a high skill cap card in some situations. But definitely if you know how to use her, you need to make, do you have any tips for using Bandit? Like, are you always getting her charge always when you place her down? Or is there some circumstances where you won't?
You always have to be cognizant of like what the charge range is, right? Like you can't just drop it right into the range of a Prince and then just have it get obliterated. You want both charges to initiate. So if the Bandit's charge goes off on the Prince's charge gets canceled. So it doesn't do any damage at all. So that's what you really need to have happen. So yeah, for the most part, the biggest mistake that I see with Bandit is people like dropping it too far away. So if you drop it like 1 tile too far away and then it has to walk up that tile and then dash towards the Expo, chances are they're going to drop Skeletons or Ice Golem and you're going to get screwed. So you can't have that happen. Exactly.
And this is textbook right here. Exactly what you're talking about with spacing and with the Tesla placement. Now, this Tesla is, I think it might be 1 tile lower. Is that what just happen to be the circumstance, or is there a difference there?
If it's too low, you can just kite it, or you can just knock it with a log, or just use an Ice Spirit to make sure that the Giant is staying in range a little bit longer, so then the Tesla's able to pop up. Then the Tesla is actually like going to take priority. Sure. So that placement was fine, but
I get you. But so normally you want to place it just where you place that one?
That one's usually the best placement, yeah.
Okay, cool.
If you do mess it up, you can just go log the Giant towards the Tesla and you're going to be fine.
Okay. So against the Golem matchup, now would you be hitting the other lane when he drops the Golem? You have a little bit more time to do something, so are you going to pressure opposite lane a bit more?
Yeah, so against Golem, for the most part, I'm going to be pressuring with Bandit really heavily. Like, that's kind of the main card that you got to use. If you're pressuring with Bandit, then they're really not able to facilitate big pushes. And if they want to, like, especially in single elixir, if the dude decides to go drop a golem in single elixir, they're going to lose the game, or they're going to take massive tower damage if they ignore that Bandit. It's like 1,200 damage. They can't take that.
Okay.
But a lot of times they'll end up doing that, and then if you defend the golem push, if they just stockpile all their units behind a golem, or they stockpile a prince or a night witch behind the golem, and you defend, then you're going to be at a huge advantage. So I don't really like committing more than a Bandit at the start of the game, but I really like rushing opposite lane with a Bandit.
Okay. And this is kind of a more nuanced question, but is there ever a matchup? So this seems to be pretty textbook as far as defense. You're repeating the same type of kind of strategy here, and the opponent isn't really adjusting too much. A good player. I'm not like, dissing them, but like there's really not much they can do in this circumstance either. But is there ever a circumstance where if they have like, I don't know, maybe if they have 2 spells or something, or I guess, I don't know, any circumstance where you would drop the Ewiz or the supporting unit to the left, to the opposite side of the Tesla?
Yeah, for sure. If they're going to get too much poison value, it's never worth giving them poison value. I'd rather keep my Ewiz alive compared to just having it die for no reason.
Okay. And against like a golem matchup, are you ever cycling like 2 Teslas, or is that rare? Or
yeah, sometimes. I mean, that's one of the key elements that I learned from 2.6 Expo or 2.9 Expo. You never really want to drop an Expo on defense, but Tesla's OP, so you just cycle a few Teslas. Against Lava Loon, for the most part, I'll cycle my Tesla early, and then I'll go in for Lava Loon, and then I'll get back to another Tesla to pull the balloon.
Okay.
You just saw right there because he went in for a double Prince, right? There's no other card to catch a Miner, so I just went in for a Miner Poison and cop the W because there's absolutely no way for him to defend that. If you cycle both your Princes, the only 2 cards that are not squishy in the deck, you're going to lose the game after you commit like that.
Yeah, really, really good advice there. And you can see, guys, just like watching that replay, how one thing that really struck me, Tag, is how you never really panicked. Like, he was really aggressive, the entire match pretty much. But you never really panicked. It didn't seem like you ever had things out of control. Like, what were you... let us into the mind of SirTag for a moment. And, like, when you're playing, obviously you're kind of in the zone, but are you just basically defense, 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 okay, minor chip damage? Is it that simple in your head?
Well, I'm usually looking at the cards that they have in cycle. So as you saw, right, I went in for a Minor Poison when I knew he wasn't actually able to defend with anything else. So if he had to defend that Minor, right? He was going to drop Swarm units, so I could go for a pre-poison. It was double elixir. It was justifiable. Gotcha. For the most part, the biggest thing in my head is don't overcommit, because if you overcommit with Minor Poison, all it is one bad push. One push that he breaks through, he takes your tower. Minor Poison doesn't have that ability, so it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. That's what you're trying to do. So
that's a good way to. That's a great way to put it. And also, so do you feel like even committing with a Minor Poison, and I think that we know the answer based on that last replay, but even committing with more aggressive Minor Poisons, it seems like in double elixir, you still won't do that unless you know you're going to get the value. It's not like you're just sending in Minor Poison every time, and that's something I see that a lot of players do in double elixir time.
Yeah, you can just automatically lose the game if you botch that.
Because you can still throw away 4 elixir, and either way, it's 4 elixir is 4 elixir. A little bit easier to kind of come back from when it's double elixir time, but still, it can be a big mistake. Hey, what do you think we should watch? Should we watch the crazy defense at the end or the log bait?
The log bait one is pretty boring.
Okay.
We can go to the other one. Log bait's like an automatic win. You just save log and cycle for the Goblin Barrel, and they'll never be able to break through. You Minor Poison them out, and yeah, they just lose. All
right, dude, let's do it against THJ Clash. I'll press play right now. So yeah, this is kind of an interesting deck. It's like a P.E.K.K.A, Prince, Ewiz, Lumberjack, but even though it's kind of off meta-ish a little bit, kind of, maybe not really, but weird, unorthodox, it still looks like it'd be a really big challenge for you. So talk about this matchup.
This one was pretty frustrating, actually. So I thought at the start of the game after seeing Lumberjack, okay, this is for sure a Golem deck. And then it ended up not being a Golem deck. So I ended up cycling a whole bunch of units like right into a Prince and P.E.K.K.A, and it felt really bad early on.
Yeah,
so
right?
That was incredibly frustrating.
It's like a Golem deck, kind of, with just P.E.K.K.A instead. It's like weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, there's a lot of
happens.
Yeah, either way, there's a lot of big bodies for you to handle here in this deck.
You're just gonna see how good Ice Golem is. At one point, I make a huge misplay, and I'm actually down like 13 elixir, I think, and I end up defending with an Ice Golem somehow. So
all right. We'll be looking forward to
It
that.
just shows like this deck, even if you make misplays, I didn't play this one like the best. I was still able to come out if I played perfect defense at one point. So that's really all it takes.
Well, let's be real here. I still feel, and we talked about this before, Tag, but I still feel that Minor Poison has really the highest kind of skill cap. You know, takes a lot of skill and repetition in learning the interactions for a deck. But you keep saying that this deck is pretty easy too. So it's just is it still the fact that it's a high skill cap and this is just a little bit of an easier deck to pick up for the first time?
Oh, this is way easier than the skeleton variation. It's way easier than any other minor poison deck because you have two win conditions. Predominantly before it was like, okay, well you have knight and you have to play super defensive and your minor poison is really your only win condition. But you actually have bandit in this deck, so bandit gives you the potential of breaking through, and if you get a bandit dash, then you're able to work it off from there. So then if you get that bandit dash, then you're able to have like a much bigger lead, being able to minor poison them out for the rest of the game.
That's wild, man. Just adding one card like that can make all the difference in a deck like this.
Adds another win condition,
Yeah,
so for sure.
Yeah. So,
I've been seeing a lot of people kind of use Royal Ghost, but I don't like Royal Ghost in this deck. I feel like you really need Ice Golem. If you don't have Ice Golem, you're not able to kite units off as the lane, and Ice Golem, you're going to see in this game, it's a failsafe. Like, if you mess up, a lot of times Ice Golem is going to be able to dig you out of the situation, and you'll be able to bounce back.
I love Ice Golem. I think it's the best card in the entire game, but do you think that Ice Golem might need maybe a nerf? Do you think it has too much value?
I think it definitely has too much value. Just look at Expo. Like, Expo with Tesla and Ice Golem, it's one of the most broken decks in the game, and this is kind of what inspired me to run this deck.
Yeah.
Having Ice Golem with Tesla and then just running Minor Poison with that. It's really
look at this push. Look at this. You got the Lumberjack P.E.K.K.A. Mega Minion coming at you. And again, I mean, you're making it look really easy, but that was a lot of firepower coming down your right lane there.
Yeah.
And you just kited Tesla Ewiz. Like 1, 2, 3. Boom.
It was really important to kill the Lumberjack last, too. And this guy's just bridge spamming me like a hero right now, so he's not really going to break through. I have no gripes of poisoning on defense. If you noticed how much value he gave me, a lot of times like bridge spam warriors, they'll drop like Pencil, they'll drop Night Witch, they'll drop all these units at the river. And if you get a poison log off, it kills everything. It evaporates instantaneously, and you're able to get a huge positive elixir trade. So I like doing that in some situations.
Okay, nice easy poison log, and here comes another double Prince push coming at you. And again, relying on that bandit's charge to take no damage there.
Yeah, you saw that Prince? It completely whiffed on the bandit.
Unbelievable, man. That's so strong.
So here's the play that I messed up on, right? He has a P.E.K.K.A. at the river, he's got a Mega Minion, and I'm at 4 elixir.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
a little bit scary.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, you weren't lying about the elixir advantage. Okay, so this time, how are you going to deal with, the Ice Golem?
Yeah, Ice Golem's OP, man.
Dude, and the P.E.K.K.A., poor P.E.K.K.A. can't hit it, so you end up kiting her all the way back down towards
She got
the
out
lane.
of the rage. She's not even able to rage up.
Oh my god. And now this is going to be testament to the power of Ewiz.
Yeah, Ewiz is busted as well. It's just, this deck functions so great.
I love this deck because, like you said, just the overall synergy of the deck. It's just like, you always have, it seems like, and maybe it's just, this is maybe testament to your play, but it seems like you always have the answer you need. You know, you're never caught in an oh crap situation because so many cards are kind of multi-dimensional, multi-purpose, you know?
Seriously, like this 12-win run was not very clean. I think like I made a lot of technical misplays, but this deck did carry me a lot. So it's
awesome, man.
It's a really forgiving minor poison deck, and I'm glad that it actually, I don't know, it's easier to show everyone. I'm glad that it's probably going to work a lot better for everyone else.
Yeah, people will have a lot more success with this iteration of the deck. So yeah, dude, have you done it? Are you going to do a video on this too? What's the agenda like over at SirTag YouTube channel?
I'm just doing daily uploads, a lot of stream highlights actually. So I typically pull like the best type of the best games or the hardest matchups of a stream, and then I put it up on my YouTube, or I'll do some deck highlights as well. So when I do deck highlights, I'll record and then I'll pull the best games from that or the hardest matchups as well. So typically you guys will see when I showcase a deck, I'll show how to win against the matchups that you're probably going to struggle against the most. So if you guys are ever interested in learning a deck, go check out my YouTube channel, and I'm sure I'll be able to help you guys out.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I totally highly recommend it. You guys already know that, but I tweeted at you like last week or the week before. But I typically, I'll be honest with you, I typically don't like stream highlight kind of videos because usually they're just kind of thrown together and it's just like whatever, you know, and you can't like chat and you feel kind of jealous of the people chatting. But with yours, I really like how you handpick, like you said, difficult matchups. And you are commentating on your own live match, even though it's, you know, after the fact. And as somebody who usually can't watch your streams due to the times, I really love your recaps, especially Three Musketeers. You know, like I would recommend everybody go search SirTag right now and find like your favorite archetype, and then just binge on recaps of your favorite decks, because it helped me out a lot when you play Three Muskies, just going into your thought process. So keep up the good work, man.
Yeah, man. Three Muskies is definitely one of my best archetypes for sure.
Love it, love it. And I'll never want to go against this deck with Three Muskies, though. Never. This is it would be a nightmare with the Minion Horde and against the Ice Spirit, Ice Golem, Ewiz. But
yeah, you're just able to go for Ice Golem and then Ewiz. That's another thing. Like you always want to go Ice Golem first, let it pop, and then go Ewiz, or Ice Spirit and then Ewiz. You never really want to go like Ewiz first, you know?
Yeah, because it dies. Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, dude, thank you again for coming on the channel. Really appreciate it. It's becoming like a regular series, and I love it, and I'm sure my viewers do too. So thanks, dude.
Yeah, dude, I'm glad to be back. Thanks, man.
No problem. Guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you check out SirTag's information, player stats, and player profile on statsroyale.com. Also, guys, make sure you pick up Do Recorder. The information will be in the description below to download on iOS and Android. It's the best way to record live from your phone with Facecam, playing the game onto Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. So check out those links, as well as SirTag's YouTube channel, of course, and his Twitter, Instagram. Everything will be in the description below, along with my YouTube partner, Bren Chong. So check out him as well, hosting tournaments and all kinds of great stuff for the community. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.